It's that time again. It's time for me to drop whatever I was working on and get in on this monster bash. 3. I'm small potatoes, so if you're here, chances are you're already subbed to Miscast or one of the other big channels, so you know the deal. 7 cards picked at random, and you make a monster out of those selections. So let's get into it. First card, a bunch of eyes. Alright. Second card, wing. Card 3, thorny plant vine sort of deal. Thorny. And then we've got, ooh boy, we'll just call that a neckless head with no eyes and a bunch of teeth. It's not phallic. Definitely didn't pop into my head. A mechanical arm, floating tattooed legs, and a tail. Alright, cool. Probably will tone down the amount of detail just a bit, but I can work with this. I start off rolling out a bunch of teeth from Super Sculpey. I try twisting and bending the teeth a bit to make them look just a little bit more interesting. And the wooden plaque I'm placing the teeth on will be the base for the monster, which is way too large, but it's the one I bought, so yeah. I bake those, then start working on the body. The armature wire kept twisting around and wouldn't stay put, so I drilled a hole next to that one, and I added a small piece of that same armature wire in next to it, and that seemed to keep it from moving. Everybody bulks out their sculptures pretty much the exact same way, so there's no need for me to narrate that, so I will stop talking. Subscribe! I start pressing those pre-baked teeth into the mouth. I use liquid Sculpey, also known as Bake and Bond, to try to keep the teeth from falling out. And it worked. And I do the same thing for the bottom row of teeth. I like the way the bottom row of teeth are set inside the mouth, so I blend a roll of clay over the top row to make an upper lip. The right arm will be the plant with thorns. I don't add the thorns till I'm almost done so I don't break them all off by handling the sculpture, but here's a small clip of me gluing those on. Time travel. I may have dropped the sculpture after I baked it once and then further damaged it by drilling holes for the arms and legs. Barely noticeable. Also may have snapped a finger off the vine hand while handling it. Yeah. I fill some of the seams with more liquid Sculpey and smooth it over. And for the left arm, I sculpted just a regular shoulder and bicep, at least for now. Chicken legs, nice. The feet on the card only had 4 toes each, so that'll save a bit of time, I guess. 20% more efficient. Nice. I cut some more armature wire to make the wings. And I refer to the card to get the general shape of the wings correct. I wasn't sure how to fasten the feet to the legs, but I landed on drilling 2 holes through the sole, S-O-L-E, and tie them on with some floral wire. Then I sculpt spines onto the backs of the wings. Might have snapped a piece of the wing off too. This is going great. I mean, it's fine. I'm not freaking out, you're freaking out. I thought using liquid Sculpey would add a cool texture to the wings, but once it baked, it just looked like regular clay. It was worth a shot. At this point, I get a little bit impatient with the waiting process that's just inherently a part of baking clay, so I switched to using hot glue for the bottom of the feet. Plus, I was worried about baking the sculpture anymore because the teeth were starting to bubble and get sort of brittle, so I'm not going to be baking this anymore. I also flesh out the shins with hot glue to save on clay. As for that eye card, clank, click, bloop, bloop. I've got round beads of various sizes, and I'm going to make an Oyumaru mold of them. Just 1/2 of each, I guess. Because I tried cutting beads in half, and it did not go well. It's harder than you think. And I am pouring resin into the Oyumaru mold. This is Smooth Cast 65D. Really glad I wore gloves for this. And since I mixed up too much resin, I had some molds of bases to fill. There was of course some flash and nubbins that needed to be cleaned up before supergluing the eyes onto the wings. I think that it would have been kind of a cop-out to put the eyes back onto the head, which didn't have eyes on the card. I think what I said just made sense. So I'm going to put the eyes on the wings instead. I crudely paint lines next to the eyes to know how I want the eyelids to be positioned. And I'm using epoxy sculpt to form all of the eyelids. Now I just gotta repeat that process on the other wing. I painted the legs black so that I could see the voids in the hot glue that I would need to patch over, which I did off camera. Instead of throwing out the super Sculpey firm I have that is old and crumbly, I'm gluing it to the wooden plaque with some liquid Sculpey as basing material. I didn't know what to do for the claw arm, so I glued a bunch of plastic parts together to make this. If I had recorded any of this, it probably could have been its own video, but I am not Bill making stuff, so it wouldn't have been as good. I added some guitar strings for wires. I used a hole punch on some sign plastic for the rivets. I glued some actual screws on there, exhaust pipes out the side, zip tie on the bottom, and I put a super glue cap inside the claw like a laser cannon or something. And then I started to assemble all these separate pieces together with hot glue. I patched up any broken pieces or cracks in the sculpture with some more epoxy sculpt. I also needed to add a spine all the way down the tail to more closely resemble the tail on the card. And that's what that looks like. And painted too. It's like I made a wackier version of my Corn Demon prints. But I know, you're thinking, those legs are missing some tattoos, so I better add those in and then finish this thing. I made some mistakes while making this monster, mostly breaking stuff, but that's kind of par for the course around here. When you make stuff long enough, you learn if something's broken, it just means it's not finished yet. I did the last Monster Bash as well, so check that out if you dug this one. And spread the love, and check out everybody else's entries into this crazy thing as well. Lich's Laboratory has a cool 3D print kit bash over on his channel that's definitely worth a look. If you're new around here, feel free to peruse my channel and then decide if you want to stick around or not, like by subscribing. And if you enjoy this video, make sure to hit the like button with a kayak. No, seriously. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you around.